On this episode of ResiWeek, we talk Sync by GE Lighting, Samsung's new sustainability pledges. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek, episode 310, CES Wrap-Up.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by FSR.
Welcome to this episode of ResiWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matty Scott for AVNation.tv. This week, I'm pleased to be joined by two of my good friends. First, we have Mr. Jeremy Glowacki. He is the executive editor at Residential Tech Today and a hardcore Dogs fan who, when this airs, hopefully will be a very happy Dogs fan. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing great, Matt. And I'm afraid to say anything about the game just because
Nope, not yet.
Everything is a jinx at this point.
Yep.
I don't even know what socks to wear anymore or shirt to the game. I am going to the game. And, my one bad decision on what to wear, that lucky item, could make the difference. So I've got to be really careful.
Just wear completely different products.
Something you've
That's
never
all you
worn
gotta do.
before for a game.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Go buy new clothes. 100%. Send your wife out to pick you up on the way home.
Right.
You'll be good to go. Then we have Seth Johnson. He is a software development manager for Blackwire Design. How you doing, Florida man?
Doing great, and don't shower, Jeremy. That's key. Just
Yes.
no showers.
No showers. I'm just going to go down that route, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it alone. This is airing on Wednesday, but we're recording on Monday. It's the Monday following CES, so we're going to talk a bunch of CES-related news. This comes to us from CE Pro. CES 2022. Savant's GE Lighting division has added a new thermostat, outdoor camera, and more lights to their Sync with a C ecosystem. These are all controllable via the Sync app. Their Matter protocol integration is going to be coming later in 2022. Take a look at the article, and if you want more in depth on it, on the products, you can go to the GE Lighting link that's in that article to see some of those products a little bit closer. Jeremy, these look fairly good, right? The products look good. They look like something you're going to pick up off the shelf at Lowe's or Home Depot. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. What does Sync have to do to be competitive in that DIY smart space?
Yeah, that's a tough question because it is something that can get easily lost on a shelf and in one of those big box stores. And without, frankly, an ad campaign that you start to know as a consumer what this product is and who's behind it, I think that they're depending on that GE name to stand out. That's something that I think the reason why Savant made the purchase on acquisition on this brand. That's something that they saw as an opportunity to say, hey, a lot of people, as much as Savant tried to do a little more of a consumer play at one point, they've tried to be sort of consumer friendly with the Apple connection. A little bit more than your typical industry-focused, CI-focused automation brands. They didn't really have a brand name. Savant isn't a name that your average consumer is going to know. I think the closest we get these days is Sonos as far as brand names. For your average maybe hobbyist or someone who wants to just DIY or have a little control over their audio systems, that type of thing. But I think that the GE might help them, but without a big campaign where you start to learn about these products and have some name recognition, it's a tough one. And I do think that it's a category with the attractive smart thermostat that is a very hot category as far as finding ways to get an automation play in the DIY space and added temperature sensors throughout rooms, playing that whole more comfort angle. I can see that starting to happen. Obviously, smart cameras are security is a big play as well, and to DIY that could work. but you're competing on a shelf with a lot of other brands that may have already been more established. So it's not an easy one to get conquered. Hopefully for them, that GE name does stand out, and people say, "Oh, well, that's a reliable brand I've heard of before." Obviously,
it's crazy to me to think that we're talking about GE not being a recognizable brand on a shelf.
Well, no, I think it will be. I
get it. But when we start talking smart spaces, it's if you see them up beside Ring cameras.
Well, yeah.
No one's going to think GE. They're going to look at Ring and go, yeah, I know those guys.
I know. That's why they start with the lighting, obviously, and GE bulbs and all that. And everyone's been so familiar with that. So maybe it's just it's where they end up, I guess, if they're somehow connected to lighting together, but that's not typically on that same shelf. So it may be hard.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. Seth, the side of this that I find intriguing is the integration with Matter and what they're going to do with the Matter protocol. Does that open the door for Sync to be, shall we say, a little bit more effective and a little bit more in our world? Or is it still going to get lost? And I don't think we can say what Matter is going to look like in the next year yet. But does this give them some leg up, maybe?
I think it just kind of they're it's one of those they're going to where they're skating to where the puck is. I guess is going.
Hockey
Like we're not
reference on a football day. Interesting.
Football, puck, hockey. Yeah. Field goals. Yeah. Had to say that while you were drinking.
Thank you.
So Matter is this year from all aspects. Everything that I've been reading and understanding from people in the industry, Matter is hitting the shelves this year. So there's going to be a pretty big rollout. So they have to be there. It's kind of one of those things. If there are products that aren't participating in that ecosystem in some way, then they're probably going to be left behind. But I think it's going to be a big checkbox for manufacturers to get on their boxes and stickers, slapped on if they didn't make it for production.
With Matter.
Yeah, Matter stickers. That outside, like all of these, the thermostats, the cameras, the sensors, they're adding into their ecosystem, more devices to do more automation within their product line. And that makes a lot of sense. I've seen a lot of feedback from DIYers, if you go online and kind of look through the forums and things, that the product it seems to have maybe some issues. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But reliability is going to be at the top of everyone's mind, both DIY and in this industry. We want products that are 100% reliable. And I don't know if what we're seeing with them from these posts, clearly people need tech support and that kind of thing. But I don't know if it's like software related or hardware related or what. I have no idea. But it would be interesting to see Matter kind of layered on top, where you don't have to use the sync software. Essentially, you're just relying on that hardware to do its thing, and then you can use whatever smart assistant or automation platform that is Matter compatible to execute scenes and that kind of thing, or take in information from the thermostat. All that stuff could be run on like HomeKit or Google or Amazon. Platforms without having to involve a third party's app. And I really think that's the way it should be. Like you should be able to switch back and forth, and Matter just becomes kind of like an API between devices, for lack of a better term. It's a little bit more than that, but let's just call it an API.
Yeah, I like it. All right, let's move on to our next story of the day. This is also a CES 2020 wrap-up coming to us from Residential Systems. The Samsung keynote focuses on working together to build a better future while tackling sustainability issues and working with the younger generation, which I'm no longer a part of, to build a better... I did that while you were drinking. See, I got you back. To build a better future. This is turning into a pregame show. On Tuesday night at the keynote, their vice chairman and CEO of Device Experience went through a ton of new things that they're doing for everyday sustainability. Read through this. It covers a ton of stuff none of which is really tech related. It was very much we're here to help save the world type keynote, which I found very interesting and not necessarily surprising, but just interesting. Han talks about how Samsung has reduced their carbon emission through its screen and mobile devices, how recycled materials are a big part of their sustainability journey, how the company is promising to use 30 times more recycled material than it has in the past 2 years, including packaging. They also talked about home energy monitoring through through SmartThings, a collaboration with Patagonia. Like, it is a laundry list of things that they're working on. Seth, when you follow this, when you see this, do consumers care about this stuff? Like, does this make it easier to go into your local HTP showroom or to a website and buy a Samsung TV over a different brand because sustainability is so important when you're trying to buy a 75-inch 8K TV? I'm not demeaning what they're doing. I think it's great that they're trying to focus on that and they're trying to get better at that. I just don't know how much anyone really gets excited about it.
I don't know if it's an excitement thing. It's a checkbox thing, right? If you go back it's the younger generation, right? The millennials, right?
Not us.
This is the selling. Well, I mean, we are millennials, but this is the selling points that you have to hit when you're marketing to millennials. Like, for previous generations, it did not matter if something was recycled. In fact, they would probably make that as in their experience, recycled products may have been of less quality or something like that.
Right.
Now that's not the case. The material science has advanced far enough where recycled products can be as good, if not better, and also better for the environment. So when you look back at what you need to market to millennials, having that checkbox for sustainability and environmental awareness and all those things that these massive companies like Apple and Google and Samsung have been doing for years, this is it. This is what you have to do to get into their wallets, essentially. And, along with a host of other things, like, you can't be disingenuous about it. Like, they will spend time to do their research and find out if you're lying about doing, all of this stuff, or if it makes a difference. So I think that it's a good thing overall that these companies are at least trying something or doing something and moving in that direction, because previous years of consumer electronics, just piling up in a landfill or something like that, everybody knows that isn't all that great. So if there's some kind of recycling program or sustainability program that a company sets up, I think it's a good thing to have at this point.
I do completely love that we're talking sustainability with arguably throwaway technology. Upgrade every 2-year life cycle on a TV. Jeremy, one of the actual product announcements was a new Samsung Home Hub, taking home experiences to the next level with a SmartThings service that integrates with connected appliances to simplify home management, yada, yada, yada. Is this going to become a thing, or is this the forefront of this, to have an actual central point for managing all these smart appliances? Everyone has been talking smart appliances for, the last 3-4 years. And we've yet to see an aggregate, really, of how to not just have those devices live in their own separate apps. Is this hopefully the move towards that?
It could be. I think that it's such a hard nut to crack when it comes to the kitchen, for instance. We've been trying to predict the future. What's that appliance going to look like to make it smart? And I think what a lot of people have gotten to the point of agreeing on is that it's about the maintenance of the appliance, knowing that there's something wrong with it and staying on top of that. But to have that as a selling point, you're buying a new refrigerator, stove, whatever it is, and to say, oh, this will let you know when it needs service or when something's going wrong. Well, that's like 10 years down the road. Like, does that really matter to the buyer at the time that they're buying that product? It doesn't seem like a really, really exciting thing to sell the thing on. But we've seen refrigerators over the years try to become this centerpiece, and that just never seems to make sense when you just do the math on what they're trying to achieve, like whether it's expiring products inside the refrigerator monitored by barcode or something like that. It never seems to kind of add up. Take a picture of the inside of the refrigerator every time you open it so that you can have that to refer to know what's in there. That seems pretty clunky. To have like a home hub though, I'm not even sure really what you could achieve there. I wasn't clear on what their goal is there. I know how SmartThings kind of works, but where it all sort of ties together, and you've got your TV in there, the refrigerator mentioned, smart monitors, which I guess that's energy. It seems like it's just another app almost, and it doesn't really. It depends on what that interface is like and how much people are willing to add another type of control app to their home, and what you're getting out of it. I do commend them. I back to the sustainability question. At least they're putting the effort into it. I think that you can look at it in a sort of a jaded way. We've been around this industry for a long time, but to put that front and center as part of their agenda, like Schneider Electric is another one that I got some announcements from CES on, and they're all into energy management as their core. But on the appliance side, or the just like plugs and switches and sort of that sort of stuff, they're trying to use reclaimed fishing nets from the ocean to build their plastic products, and that was interesting. And I do agree that it's an image thing. We've got to get our brand image on the right direction for the younger generation who really does care about this. And I hope in the end it does help the earth. We all need every move that you can make toward that. And you're right, there are a lot of disposable products, so they've got to offset it somewhere. Hopefully that's a step in the right direction.
I do know one small thing about that home hub thing is that they were using it for a little more for energy management. The energy management spec is unfortunately left off of Matter, so they haven't implemented it yet. So this is probably one way, and they announced some kind of new standard too, along with that they would be able to use
HCA,
right? Yeah, HCA, yeah. So yeah, I don't know what's going to come of that kind of thing. The only thing I really want in my house, like a smart appliance that I want in my house, is something on the stupid oven that will set the clock when the power goes out. Literally all I need. That's it.
I'm pretty sure that's just like a CR2032 battery.
They can't afford to put that on at this. I mean,
nope.
I'm sure
it's very expensive, Seth.
Yeah,
it's a very expensive battery.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Just before we hit our last topic of the day, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk briefly about highlights. Jeremy, what did you see from CES that got you excited or hugely disappointed?
One thing I focused mostly on were the video manufacturers, the TVs, and I think that what you're getting is a lot more direction toward mimicking what OLED accomplishes in other non-OLED products, OLED products. So just getting that micro LED achieved where you're having better light placement on the screen. And I think as we get to that, solving that kind of problem, that challenge there, and products that people can afford, then you're going to have just better TVs. And then at that point, I know you go toward 8K and all of that, but at a certain point, you're like, well, what else is there to achieve here? And maybe that is the sustainability question. And then we just start going into the green products. How do we make our products better for the environment and energy efficient and all that, which we're already getting pretty good on with the TVs. But that's really it. Better picture quality, and it isn't exciting. It's incremental changes, but if everything can look as good as what OLED looks like already, I think that would be great.
Yeah, that's a good one. Seth, did you see anything that got you excited?
I mean, not really home related, but the really cool that the e-ink BMW car.
Yeah, the iDrive
was really slick. And there was a follow-up YouTube video that was released on that kind of said how they had made it, and it was a challenging project for them to do. I don't think it's anything we'll see anytime soon, kind of like everything else at CES.
Everything else at CES?
Yeah, it's perfect for that show. But I think highlight, like even more broadly speaking, it seemed like there was a lot of Matter talk this week.
Mm-hmm.
Even there was a chip that was coming out. I'm trying to look up the company's name, but there was a tri-band chip basically that would be fully compatible with Wi-Fi, one of the Matter radios, and Bluetooth, or I guess Bluetooth and Thread, Zigbee, whatever you want to call it, for Matter. So that if that's an inexpensive thing, you're going to see manufacturers pick up and start to use that and in the products, and you'll have more and more products come onto the market that are supposedly going to be easy for consumers to set up and deploy into their house. And I think it's one of those things that's exciting to me because it's one of those rising tide raises all ships propositions, right? And I really think that our industry has sat on the sidelines on their laurels for way too long. They should be pushing this envelope a lot further down the road. And it's kind of inexcusable for major control companies to not even offer an RGB interface on their lighting control system at this point. Like, how do you miss that when every single DIY product has had it in since Philips Hue was reduced or introduced maybe 10 years ago? So it's kind of like, I think that we just need to have that fire lit under us so we get moving on our product. And maybe one day, I don't know if there's nothing really I can see that would stop them other than pride, but maybe it would be really nice to see major brands that we offer integrated or back integrated directly into Matter. And where I could use my Lutron or Control 4 or Crestron lighting on a HomeKit app, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a whole other show.
Yeah,
that you and I should get on and rant about. But I'll wrap just the CES side for a second. The BMW was phenomenal. That was the groundbreaking thing I saw. The other thing that I'm continually intrigued with was stuff like the Freestyle Smart projector from Samsung. That literally, it looks like a coffee cup, and it's supposed to have 24 to 100 inch display size, and again, it's not our channel. It's nothing we're going to do, but it's just over $1,000 Canadian, so it's probably like $20 American.
I think I saw it was like 500 or something.
Yeah, probably
$600. Yeah.
Yeah, I was joking a little bit, but not that much. It's just it's one of those things that I hope progresses our industry forward. To Seth's point, opposed to us sitting back and going, well, this is a dumb product. Why do we see these? No, you got to buy this projector. I think that's a really interesting aspect of what CES brings, is that ability to look at different things and hopefully have it move our channel forward. But we will see. All right, gentlemen, let's wrap it there so we don't run too far over. Seth, if people want to connect with you, learn more about Blackwire Design, where can they do that?
You can head over to blackwiredesigns.com. Check out everything we have there on the website, both hardware and software. We sell Ruckus, we sell all sorts. Anything we have in stock, we will sell you. I guarantee you. And software is always in stock. So.
It's very kind of you to sell things. Jeremy, if people want to connect with you, learn more about residential tech today, where can they do that?
Go to restechtoday.com and subscribe to the digital or print magazines every other month, or the twice weekly newsletter, and also Residential Tech Talks. So that's our podcast that we interview folks just like you do, but do a deep dive, usually one-on-one with someone from the industry, and sometimes we have an interesting one. So hope to gain a bigger audience at some point on that one.
Yeah, definitely go check that out. It's a fun show. I've been on it before when Jeremy was short of guests. You're welcome. But yeah, it's definitely a fun show to check out. Thanks again for joining us today. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Twitter at Matt D. Scott and pretty much every other social platform. But more importantly, please visit AVNation.tv, where you'll find this show as well as a wide variety of other shows with all the verticals that we cover. When you visit the website, please take a moment to check out our supporters. We are extremely thankful for their support and ask that you check them out as well. Thanks again for watching. That's all the time we have for this episode of ResiWeek.